Welcome back to Torment. Alright, armor's all buffed up for everybody. I'm ready to talk to a few more people here before going on to talk to Aadiriis, who will hopefully point me in the direction of Mazov. The slim cast-off looks to be in his late teens. He carries an odd-looking device that resembles a scorched circle, and it's not hard to draw the connection between it and the red mark of a recent injury that travels along his forehead and under his hair. The man seems confused, hesitant, as if he has so many questions that he isn't sure which to ask first. I wonder if that injury has to do with why the Changing God cast off his shell, because it would seem weird for the Changing God to cast off a shell in late teens, like before the body had reached full maturity. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, well, this body has a lot of use and hasn't even reached its peak potential yet, but there it goes. I want to ask, I'm not sure, he gives a shaky smile. I want to ask you a lot. We all do. About him? No. Something he did? Maybe. Yes. She studies his face and comes to a conclusion. I don't know him, she mutters to you. He's a newer cast-off, at least within the last century. Looks like he's been worse used than all the rest of us. What kind of questions did you have for me? You forced your way through our portal, he says. It kept us safe from the sorrow. Now it's open, he swallows, eyeing you reproachfully, carefully. You feel a stirring of forces around you. You were reckless, he blurts, avoiding your eyes. You've exposed us, maybe killed us. I don't want to die. He's on the verge of tears. You need to tell me how bad it is, and I need the truth, he says, raising his eyes again. Have you seen it? Have you seen the sorrow? I have. I knew it, he says, going pale. We're running out of time. Now listen, he says, blinking hard. This is even more important. Have you abused the tides to change things, to influence people? Unfortunately. Then it'll find you, find us, he swallows. Every use of her power draws it like a fire in the sky. You should leave, he says. But there's no heat in his words. Maybe it'll follow you and leave us alone. His trembling hand seeks the red wound at his hairline. Did you want to ask me more questions? No, I don't. He avoids your eyes. You should go. Go before it comes for all of us. What did you mean when you said we? He blinks hard at your question, twisting the blackened circlet through his hands. I once fought in the endless battle, found this in a giant clay hand, trapped in a half-shattered block of stone. I took it. He shakes his head, as if denying the memory itself. Put it on. The circlet spins through his hands, faster and faster. I saw darkness, knew I was inside the owner of that hand, a clay automaton in prison, knew I could control it. He shivers. I did. Broke it free from the stone, used it in service of our sire for many years. Thought of it as my armor. He blinks hard again, like a man trying to dislodge a thought with his eyelids alone. Then a war construct collapsed on the automaton, crushed it, and the crown burned. I remember screaming, then 100 voices in my head, arguing with each other, shouting, fighting. Another hard blink. The automaton wasn't armor. It was a container for gods. Did you say gods? Yes, my armor wasn't a tool. It was a locked chest with a hole inside. A deep hole full of terrible gods. He He shuts his mouth and says no more on the subject. Rin, can you help him? I can try, she says, hunkering down to examine Elkashai's eyes. Her small smile falls into a frown. Then she winces. I don't understand these gods. They aren't like any I've ever met. They don't speak anything like a proper god. They are rude. She cocks her head to listen more. Al believes they are prisoners, and also not gods at all. She looks up at him, sad. I offer apologies, sir, for I cannot help you. Alkashai nods glumly, unsurprised. Yes, they said as much to me, now that I can understand it. What was the endless battle like?
I remember that.
He shudders. We were killed. The dead crept into my mind. They told me to kill more, and I did because that's what we do. It's in our nature, you know. We're worse than animals, cast-offs, humans. Whether created or evolved, we are all inclined to conflict. Goodbye. Hopefully I can find someone that'll allow me to put my two pieces of the ring together. I've been thinking about this brace of mighty Callistor. I don't think I'll ever be able to give it to Aadiriis, because he's already at, he's got -2 concentration. He's got inability. In order to get it to the point where he doesn't get the penalty from it, I have to give him 2 skill points, and I don't think I'll ever get that, because he'd need to go up 2 more tiers, and I'm not sure if this game will get you. I have a feeling tier 4 is where you cap out in this game. I could be wrong. I wouldn't mind giving it to Rin. Although Might Edgewood doesn't do her any good. It would do more good for Makina. She doesn't have concentration. I could use it because I do have concentration. I wouldn't get the penalty, but I don't know, what good does it do me? Might Edge, I don't really use Might. Aadiriis is my Might character. So the Might Edge would help him. It would lower his pool. On the other hand, with a high Might Edge, I might not be using that pool at all since I'll have so much edge. So actually, it might be worth giving it to him. Even with the 2 points of Might penalty, that might still be worth it just because he's almost never going to have to use his Might pool. +1 damage per effort applied. Well, he would get 3 free points of effort. Screw it, let's do it. The problem is, well, you know what? I'm not going to have him put it on yet, just in case I get something better. Just because he's only got the 1 slot. That's another reason I don't want to put on my character, because it's mostly useless to me and I might get something better.
Yes. Now.
Let's go all.
Andrews Sandman. This man's face is flushed and angry, veins throb on his forehead, and his eyes are focused on his companion. Stop talking, Rayma. He spits, each word, gripping his weapon belt with bloodless fingers. Stop talking, or I'll prove you wrong right now. He planned this. Ridiculous. I would have known. Ah, but it wouldn't do anything of the sort, Reimer replies, grinning as though she intends to eat the man whole, and screaming. Even this argument is part of his plan. Do what you have to do, Andronus. If not for the law, you'd already be dead, he says and spits at her feet. Traitor. Fool. You child, she says with a laughing scorn. You win great. A typical first militia response. Angry indignation. Oh, pardon me. What? They shout in unison, whirling on you. What are you arguing about? Best stay out of it, Andronus says, slashing the air between him and Ramo with his hand. Even a second of her boot-licking nonsense is a waste of your time. Hide from the truth all you want, Rima says, shaking her head. You know I'm right. You know it. Neither of you actually told me what you were arguing about. Of course I didn't, Rima says, grinning. Andronus never lets me get a word in edgewise. Why should I? Andronus says with a bitter laugh. All your words are his, and I've had enough of him for a lifetime. Will you tell me what you're arguing about? Grinding his teeth together, Andronus merely shakes his head. She chuckles under her breath and runs an easy hand over her scalp. Okay, I'm not going to get anything out of him. How long have you two known each other anyway? Too long. Agreed. One more try. Alright. Clearly I'm getting nothing out of those two. Unnamed. No. There's anything more out this way? No. This building contains living quarters, presumably for cast-offs who make a semi-permanent home here. The doors to the structure are locked at the moment.
I'm going.
Right, it seems the only person left to talk to is Aadiriis.
On it. I'll remember that.
Even among all your siblings in Yelabest, this woman is remarkably beautiful. Clad in a robe of myriad colors, she carries herself with a distinct grace and ease. Her skin is dark brown, her hair a rippling midnight black. Her violet eyes blaze momentarily as you approach, and she holds up her hand. Her voice is musical and sweet. You're most welcome here, brother. I am Aadiriis. I am the peacekeeper of Yelabest. Word of your birth and exploits have reached us here already, she smiles. News travels fast in the cast-off world, as I'm sure you've already seen. I know your desire to speak to Mazov. I've even heard a rumor that you can alter the past, that you restored Matkina. This is strange to me, for I have two memories on the subject, one in which Matkina is whole, as we know her now, and another in which her mind is incomplete. She laughs. Perhaps my mind is the one that's incomplete. I remember it, Aadiriis, the attack on Colne Village, where Padge destroyed my friends. You remember that? In another timeline, Tash used his mind wipe on me. He filled my mind with holes so I wouldn't remember, and he ruined my life. I tell you that my memory of that time has changed. I'm whole again. Aadiriis trusts only the new reality. That actually makes me feel less insane. She raises an eyebrow. But how do I know that our newest member hasn't simply used a different form of mind control to give you false memories? I have a marecaster here in which Mazov is said to appear, but I do not wish to expose him to the dangers of an untested psychic. She faces you fully. I have some limited psychic ability myself. If a new friend will allow me, I will examine your mind for the truth. If you must, don't probe too deeply. This will take but a moment. She places gentle fingers on your forehead, and you feel a swirl of color thrill your innermost core. A kaleidoscope of emotion shakes you, a gamut of experiences recognized and echoed, magnified and reflected. When she removes her hand, her eyes are wet with tears. Forgive my doubt, brother. I believe you now. I believe you're capable of changing reality. Why would her sire have given him this ability? A side effect, perhaps, or...
I'll remember that.
She holds up a slender finger. But if anything, this makes me more leery of handing you a brother's Marecaster. If you wish to speak to Mazov, you must prove to me that you can be entrusted with the minds of one of our brethren. You cured Matkina, but did you understand Tash? Did you take care of his innermost self as well? Before I can give you this Marecaster, I would have you speak with Melmoth Leviarn. I already spoke with him.
I know you're busy, but could we talk?
It is my contention that we draw the sorrow to us with our abuse of the tides, which is why I do not use our tidal powers. I believe our use of these powers is inherently painful to those around us. For instance, was anyone with you when you awoke to consciousness? Two people, an Eon priest named Alijar and a nano called Kalistej. They were arguing as I woke. I'd wager any simmering tension snapped into sharp focus. If they were lovers, for example, they might have fallen deep into love's spell. But if they were breaking apart, your blast of tidal energy would have riven them, destroyed their relationship. She pauses, and you feel the tickle of her mind on yours. That's what happened, isn't it? They were not arguing for nothing. Go see Melmoth. Ask him about the tides. When you've done that, we will speak further. As you wish.
You won't notice I'm gone.
Alright, Bubba. Let's talk again. Oh good, you've come back to bedevil me again. Aadiriis told me to come speak to you about the tides. You'll find none better equipped to answer the questions, certainly. The tides are an inextricable part of us, and he snaps a clamp on one of the attachments on it too. Wait, she sent you to me? He peers closely at you. Interesting. Every time I talk about the tides, she argues with me, as if she'd spent a fraction of the time I have in studying them. What game is Aadiriis playing? She probably said that we bring pain to our existence. Let me enlighten you. Everyone brings pain to others. I have experienced so many lives and memories, and one of the common threads in all of them is pain. Do we hurt other people? We do. But how we differ from any mortal in this regard. Show me someone without pain and I will show you a corpse. Winks. And then I'll eat it.
I'll remember that.
We are imperfect. We leak tides, or absorb them, or both. Our powers impinge on the minds of others, upon their nervous system, if you prefer. We draw strength from them. We change them in the process, and not usually for the better. This is regrettable, but unavoidable. Aadiriis might have said that the sorrow is hunting us because we abuse the tides, or some such nonsense. But if that's the case, we're doomed by the nature of our existence. If true, why not use the powers we have? Aadiriis thinks that a tidal surge on my birth was responsible for a devastating argument between two humans. It's entirely possible. The tides are a psychic force, and when we're born, our minds snap into a particular shape and force out the residue. An unprotected mind nearby might well absorb some of that energy and react in unpredictable ways. But what of it? Does this change anything in your life? Two mortals had an argument. Oh no. Boo-hoo. How do you know so much about the tides? He sighs, exasperated, and holds up his bony hand, folding his fingers back as he counts. 1, I am hundreds of years old. I can devote this kind of time. 2, I am dedicated to knowledge. 3, I will do anything in its pursuit. 4, I learn to draw memories from dead people. 5, I sought the dead who could teach me about the tides. He lowers his fist. Follow that trail of thought. You'll get me at the end. That's how I know. And why do I do this, do you think? Let me tell you, since you clearly wanted to ask. It's because the changing man thought the tides were important. He used the tides to shape us. Do you want to know more about how you were created? I did, and so I reached the tides. The reason for this is that I am not an idiot, unlike so many of our siblings. Why do you think the sorrow pursues us? He waves a finger at you. I don't waste my time worrying about it, like worrying about the death of the cosmos. It'll come sooner or later. You want supposition? Here's a list. Because of our mad creator, vengeance, sheer bloody-mindedness. Maybe it loves the tides, or loathes them. Could be it hates what we're doing with the tides. But if you talk to Aadiriis, say, you'll find she never uses hers. I use mine all the time, yet the sorrow would destroy us both. He adjusts one of the tubes on his outfit. I worry more about the deaths of others, and how I might gain some of their knowledge. Not about the first dead vendetta, not our creator's desire to kill us, nor certainly yet not an unstoppable monster from the past. What did you mean when you said the tides were an inextricable part of us? Did you think you could come back from the dead because you were born lucky? Our bodies require tidal energy. Cut us off from that energy and we dissolve. It's the way we're structured, the way our sire created us. He invented a mental matrix and imposed it on the bodies he grew. I surmise that this matrix is what allows his consciousness to transfer and what allows the tidal energy to permeate our forms. Without it, he grins and pulls his hands apart. Sploosh. But we have the advantage of being able to draw on this power for our own uses. He constructed each of us along different lines. Because of that, the patterns that hold us are different. Is it any wonder that we should be able to channel this into tidal surges? What are the tides anyway? Where did they come from? You know, they're a psychic energy field. They pervade the greater Sagas protectorate, but the pockets of tidal affinity are localized in the ninth world. That suggests that though they're a natural force, they're also artificially induced. Civilizations have risen around their use. He frowns. And civilizations have fallen. He scratches his nose. Odd thing. I have sought to decipher the accounts of those times, but the creatures that made them are strange. The sorrow shows up in images and sounds and spectra I can barely understand. He taps his head. That's why I sought a better method. Get the occasional disease, a strong mind that doesn't want to share its memories with you, but everyone wants to be remembered. Talk to their voices long enough, they realize you're their only true heir. Have you spoken with Melmoth then? What did he say? He said that the tides are within us all, and that we should use our powers as necessary. She laughs. I imagine he called me a fool, and worse. He has done more research into the tides than anyone else here in Neil the Best. Tell me, did he say anything else? He said I should ask where your powers come from, if not the tides. I awoke with them. They are not, as far as I am aware, any manifestation of tidal energies. It's not as though we have a measuring apparatus, of course, but I think I would know if we were using those forces. At any rate, I sent you to speak with Melmoth. Do you believe that he has conducted his studies with anything but his own power in mind? He seems self-absorbed and lacks empathy, so yes, I think he's focused on power. As do I. I do not judge him for this, but I use this as my basis for understanding the words he uses and the actions that result. I disagree with his conclusions, but I recognize that his view may be a valid one and mine mistaken.
I'll remember that.
So I have another task for you. Aadiriis and Raima are arguing. The recent negotiations between the Chalcedon and Patch broke down, and these two have taken it hard. They are like to come to blows if they cannot be reconciled. It's supposed to say they are likely to come to blows if they cannot be reconciled. She bows her head. If one strikes the other, the laws of Neil will best be clear. The attacker will be evicted. I don't know if the Sorrow is truly more active, but they came here choosing safety. And it is my wish that they have it. Please, speak with them. Will he take control outside their minds as well? Or will he let them choose their own path? Aadiriis, of all of us here, you're the only one who doesn't seem to want anything, who isn't openly manipulating the others for her own benefit. So what's the play? You say we're free to choose and to own our choices. So what choices are you making? What do you really want? She's using everyone. She just doesn't want to admit it. Maybe it's vanity. Or maybe something else. She smiles at Nakina sadly. What I want is an end to our stupid internecine warfare. I want us to work together. The squabbles between our sire and those who support the legacy of the first mean nothing in the face of the Sorrow. But get any two of us together, and the larger threat vanishes while our death creeps closer still. She gestures to the beauty around her. Mila Best is a garden, a cage. The Sorrow can't come in, but we can't leave. Have you seen animals locked in a menagerie? They are restless, caged, yearning to be free. But if they leave the cell, they are hunted by their would-be keepers. So it is with us here. But instead of uniting to solve a problem, we lash out at each other. I would see us set aside those differences. You are my older sister, and so I am cautious in saying this to you, but you have a certain reputation, even among the rest of us. You are known to be hard, unforgiving. You carry grudges through centuries, even beyond death. Nakina, please. You need to let go. Her voice rasped from her dry throat. Nearly all the authors of my tragedies have been our kind. Our sire, in his abandonment in my moment of peril, the first, in her order to slaughter my village, Padge, who bloodied her blade herself, Tash, who claimed to be a friend and turned on me, Melmoth, who offered me aid and betrayed me to the authorities. She turns her head to glare at Melmoth nearby. Need I go on? Do you always act with full knowledge, sister? Are your choices made rationally, with forethought, or do you react without thinking? Think on this, and think of what example you set. You can forgive them, Akina, but never forget what they've done. Really? That's the message you take from this? Fine, I suppose. It's better than nothing. She pinches the bridge of her nose. Sometimes, I admit, our kind can be supremely frustrating. She waves you away. Go and speak with Raima and Aadiriis. Perhaps in helping them, you can learn from them as well. I stand by what I said. It's fine to forgive and move on, but, don't ever forget what happened. All right. Let's speak with them. I think I have a choice. By the looks, Rima and Andronus turn your way. You've interrupted a promising tangent of their apparently infinite argument. Aadiriis asked me to mediate your dispute. They react exactly like sullen children. Andronus folds his arms and turns away from you. Rima flushes and stares at her feet. All right, she mutters at last. Tell us what you need to know. First, what exactly are you arguing about? The two watch each other warily for a moment, as if speaking first will somehow forfeit the argument. We mostly disagree, he says at last, on the amount of respect due our sire. He arches a cold eyebrow at Rima, a sign of question. She gives a reluctant nod. Tell me what's troubling you, Andronus. I just don't understand her, he says, flinging his hand in Rima's direction. The changing god abandoned us at birth, then fed us lie after lie when he chose to speak with us at all. She claims he has a master plan. I see a man who serves himself, first and always. He doesn't care if we die. Even I care more if Rima dies than our sire does. Siblings? Ha! Sharing that bastard's consciousness doesn't make us related. He barks a bitter laugh. Did you know that he sparked the whole war from my body? He got the first angry at me, then ditched his shell, leaving me to deal with the consequences. Good thing the first knows the difference between the face and the mind. He rubs his eyes. But Rima, look, I know how she feels. The sorrow is hunting all of us. It's nice to think that the changing god has a plan to protect us. It's just not true. I know it. He glares at Rima, then looks back at you. Damn it, he says, turning away. After a moment, you see why. There are tears in his eyes. None of us want to kill each other. You see that, right? His eyes harden. But if I have to choose between someone brave enough to stand against a father and her, I drop her and mourn later. Let's hear your side, Rima. It's simple, brother. The endless battle is a test, and Andronus' side has been failing it for centuries. Our creator managed to annoy the first enough that she stormed off in a huff. He even did it in Andronus' body. You'd think that this big oaf, of all people, would understand what her sire was thinking. She shakes her head, laughing. The fact of the matter is our father created the sanctuary for us to protect us from the sorrow. But hiding isn't a strategy. Eventually, we'll have to take battle to it. The gleam in her eyes is bank fire. And when that time comes, our father wants an army who will follow his orders without question. He allowed the first to spread her doubts, and the traitors among us have flocked to her side. She tosses Andronus a scornful look. Even so, I'm sure it hurt our father to discover that so many of his children mistrusted him, she says, lowering her eyes. Imagine how that feels, knowing that you have to kill some of your children to save the rest. And that's it, she says with an elegant shrug. Simple, like I said. Andronus simply can't accept that his grand rebellion is all part of our father's plan. Can't accept that we owe our existence and ongoing survival to him. She sneers at Aadiriis. If you hate his sanctuary so much, why not leave? And he wants to kill each other over it? Better to spend their lives in the war itself. Before I make any decision, what sort of solution would satisfy you both? Neither of them speak for a moment. Their faces are identical sculptures of surprise. I don't know, he says, glancing at Rima. Nothing you could say would make us take each other's side. And with apologies to Aadiriis, I don't want to get along with Rima. I've hated her for too long. No offense. Her lip quirks. Honesty doesn't offend me. She looks over at you. And we need a decision. Can't please both of us. Our points of view aren't ever gonna line up. Aadiriis and Rima go still and stoic, showing no sign of the emotion they displayed before. In this moment, they look very much alike, like family. Do you really want to break the truce, to kill each other over a point of view?
I'll remember that.
Aadiriis opens his mouth, shuts it thoughtfully. Finally he speaks. You're right. We're safe here, but the sorrow is certain, if the rumors are true. I don't want to do its work. All right, she says, letting out a ragged breath. Just, let's talk about something else, Aadiriis. Can we do that? That was pretty simple.
Whatever.
Have you helped Rima and Aadiriis come to a conclusion yet? I managed to persuade them to their senses. They've agreed to a temporary peace. She claps her hands softly. Well done. Well done indeed. To be free to choose is a part of life in Mila Vest. We must own our choices, just as we own our responsibilities for the outcomes of those choices.
I'll remember that.
Before I can allow you to alter the course of a brother's life, I would hear your opinion on something which touches the lives of all our kind, for fuck's sake. You have no doubt heard of the endless battle, but what do you know about it? Why do they fight? And who is right? How many of these freaking tests are you gonna make me do, lady? She bows her head slightly. If perchance you have heard only a little about the conflict, you may wish to speak to your brethren before answering. No, I've talked to them.
I'll remember that.
What's the point? She sneers. The endless battle used to mean something. It used to be people of principles, but they lost sight of the true goals, and it became a self-perpetuating war machine. I don't think the First could stop it now, even if she were alive. It's worthless and stupid. You know, for once, Matkina, you and I agree with you completely. I doubt either side knows what they're fighting for anymore, if they even care. A not uncommon opinion, Matkina, at least among those of us who abstain from the fighting. She turns to you. What about you? Have you an opinion as strong, or do you wish to gather more information before giving an answer? Oh no, I can give you an opinion right now. Very well. What do you believe the point of the endless battle is? Remember Thalana and her men. The only purpose it serves is to ruin the lives of those it touches. Fair point, I admit, but does it ruin all the lives it touches? To some benefit, indeed. What of the suppliers, the camp followers, the arms merchants? You would strip away their livelihoods in the name of peace. An interesting opinion, but Castoff really voice it to him. And they are part of the problem. The endless battle only creates devastation. She nods. There is merit in standing by one's opinion. Only be certain that, in doing so, you do not shut your ears to the opinions of others. She claps her hands together. So, why do you think I have asked you this? No, let us start from the first task. Why would I tell you to talk to Melmoth when he ridicules my beliefs? You wanted to expose me to other viewpoints. Precisely. When we have incomplete information and are exposed to alternate opposite viewpoints, how do we judge which is true? We must reach a conclusion at some point. But unless those conclusions are backed with incontrovertible evidence, you must never imagine that you have the sole grasp on the truth. And what do you imagine I intended when I asked you to intervene with Rhyma and Aadiriis? To resolve a dispute with regard for both parties' feelings and motivations. That is exactly so. My intention for you in this task was to have you change the lives of your siblings for the better, while they still control their own lives, to offer them alternatives and see if you can provide them a route through their troubles that maintains their core goals. Quite frankly, I don't think I really solved anything. I kind of just postponed it, but okay. Then we come to the question of the endless battle. What purpose did that discussion serve? Challenging my beliefs with alternate viewpoints, perhaps. Correct and astutely judged. The goal in all of this was to make you question your assumptions, to see things through others' eyes. She holds her gaze. It may be that nothing of import happens in Zarian's mare. You might enter, speak with Mazov, and leave without altering him a bit. But even if so, there will be other mares. Or if the next one is Melmoth's, or Rhyma's, or even mine, whose assumptions will you take with you into that life? Whose goals will you accomplish, and at what cost? You have the power to change the course of a life, of many lives, without their permission or even their knowledge. You will have to weigh their desires against your own, deciding whether the needs of your life are more important than theirs. You will have to know, with the utmost certainty and integrity, what does one life matter. Seek your own answer, brother. That is what matters most. She murmurs laughter. Is this a criticism? I cannot disagree that life should be lived rather than observed. One can observe all the way to the grave and suddenly realize that one's life was wasted.
Making a note.
From within her robe, she produces a small, clean box. A stylized version of the Changing God sigil is emblazoned across the top of it. This is the mare caster of a cast-off named Zarian. One brother looked into it once and reported seeing Zarian in the fields of Asifagan, and later speaking with Mazov. I highly recommend you take care of any unfinished business before you enter the mare. You can change the past after all. Anything might happen. Let me know when you're ready. Alright. So we'll leave off here and we'll enter that mare next time.